Hello everyone. In today's video, we talk about how do we add and subtract fractions. So let's get into it. So here are the rules for when we're adding and subtracting fractions. Number one, always change mixed fractions into improper fractions. So let's go over an example and review how do we do that. So as a reminder, 2 and 1/3, this is a mixed fraction. We want to change it to improper so it helps us do the calculations later. We do that by taking the denominator and we first multiply it to the whole number and then we add it to the numerator. So let's figure out what this is. 3 times 2 gives us 6, plus 1 gives us 7. So it becomes 7/3. So it's always multiply, then add, right? Multiply, then add. Number two, we need to find the lowest common denominator. Now, you could just find a common denominator and reduce later on, but the thing with common denominators means that you're dealing with bigger numbers, which makes it a little bit more complicated without a calculator. So we always try and find the lowest common denominator possible. Number three, we want to change the numerators accordingly because when we change our denominators, our numerators need to change as well so that everything is fair. Number four, we then add or subtract the numerators depending what the operation is in between, and we keep the denominator as it is after finding its common denominator. And our last step here will then reduce and simplify if possible for our final answer. So let's take a look at some examples and go over each of these steps to make sure you guys understand how these rules are applied. Let's take a look at the following. Number one, we have 1/2 plus 1/3. So right now, they're both proper fractions because the numerator is smaller than the denominator. So now we just need to figure out, okay, what is the lowest common denominator between 2 and 3? And you guys will know that to find the lowest common denominator, if they have nothing in common, you can just multiply them together. So in this case, 2 times 3 would be 6. So both of them will change the denominators into 6. So from 2 to 6, we had to multiply by 3. So whatever I do to the bottom, I need to do to the top to be fair. So I need to multiply the top by 3. So the top now becomes 3 for the first fraction. The back part, from 3 to 6, I had to multiply by 2. So I need to do the same thing to the numerator, and we get 2/6 for the second fraction. Next, we simply just follow the next step in the rules, which means that we add the numerators together, 3 plus 2 giving us 5, and we keep the common denominator, which is just 6. So our final answer for the first one is 5/6. Now let's take a look at example number 2. Okay, we see here that we have two mixed fractions. So we need to change them both into improper fractions first. So again, first step, we're going to multiply and then we add. So 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. So we get 4/3. Same thing, we're going to multiply and then we're going to add. So in this case, 4 times 2 gives us 8, plus 1 gives us 9. So we get 9/4. So now we can take a look at these improper fractions and now find the lowest common denominator. Between 3 and 4, it should be 12 because they have, again, nothing in common. So change both of the bottoms into 12. So the first fraction, from 3 to 12, I had to multiply by 4. Multiply by 4, and also multiply by 4 to the numerator to keep things the same. We get 16. From 4 to 12, we multiply by 3, multiply that top part by 3, and we get 27. So in total, 16 plus 27, this will give us a total of 43/12. We can see here that 43 and 12, there's nothing common. I can't reduce them anymore, so I can leave it as is. Some teachers will require you to rewrite it back into a mixed fraction. So to do that, we think about how many times does 12 go into 43 nicely? It'll go into it nicely 3 times. The denominator is still 12. 3 times 12 is 36, so that means there's 7 left over to get to 43. So depending what your teacher expects your answers to be in the end, you can either keep it as an improper fraction, given that you can't reduce it anymore, or you can change it into a mixed fraction as such. All right, let's take a look at the next example. Again, here we have two mixed fractions. We want to change it to impropers, and this time we have minus in between. So same thing, we're going to first multiply, then add. So that's 2 times 3, 6 plus 1, that's 7 over 2, minus, multiply, then add. 6 times 1, 6 plus 1 is 7, 7 over 6. Common denominator between 2 and 6. 2 goes into 6 quite nicely, so in this case we want them to be 6 in both denominators. The first front fraction here, from 2 to 6, we had to multiply by 3, multiply the top part by 3 to be fair, so we'll get 21. The other one, from 6 to 6, we didn't change anything, so it's like multiplying by 1, so therefore we just keep the top as 7. If I do what I have now is just to subtract the numerators. 21 minus 7 gives us 14 over 6. We see here that both of these numbers are even, so therefore we can reduce further and divide both by 2. You can show your work, right? It's always nice to show our work here. So this will be 7 over 3. And then if you want to rewrite it as a mixed fraction, 3 goes into 7 twice with 1 left over. So 2 1/3 would be your final answer. So that pretty much does it for today's video. If you found everything to be useful and you learned something new, please make sure to like the video, share, and subscribe to the channel for more content. Leave a comment below for any other topics that I may not have covered yet and you really want me to create a video for it. Right? Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.